Hello, hello. Welcome to the November Numerology Forecast. Super excited to share this forecast with you guys today because there is a lot happening right now in terms of kind of the energetics of what's at play. And so, my intention in sharing these forecasts with you is that you can look at what's happening in your life, your goals, your desires, your current situations, the challenges you're facing, and you can see what's happening energetically and attempt to work with the patterns that are unfolding rather than feeling like you're swimming upstream, going against the current, that sort of thing. So if it's your first time tuning in with me, my name is Megan Alton. I am a business coach and strategist as well as a numerologist. And so when I'm looking at numerology, I'm looking at the energetics of what's happening so we can work with the energy that's unfolding, whether it's our goals, our business, our finance, relationships, anything that's happening in your life. So as you're tuning in, please feel free to comment, leave questions, send me a DM on Instagram if you're picking this up on my podcast, and let me know what's landing and what questions are coming up for you, and I'd be happy to share back and forth about it. So first of all, November is a 2 energy month, and this is like, let's put this into context here. So we were in a 9 energy year. This is 2025 is the 9. It's all about breaking cycles and patterns that have held you back in the past. It's about closing out what no longer serves you so that you can be open for the new opportunities that want to emerge, particularly looking at what are those things that have been maybe weighing on you, whether it's from your life, ancestrally, that kind of thing, that have maybe been intergenerational patterns, that you are here as the cycle breaker so that you can interrupt them. And I know that when you're hearing me say that, if this is you, if you are here to interrupt some cycles and patterns in your intergenerational line, you're feeling that intuitive hit, that like ding, ding, ding happening inside where you're like, that's me. And this is what that cycle is about. So I really want to encourage you, listen to those intuitive hits that you're picking up, because they're telling you something, right? That matters. That is important for you to be aware of, for you to understand. Now, November, we only have 2 months left of 2025, and then we're entering into the 1 energy year, which is going to be so powerful because the 1 is about the seed planting following the closing out of some patterns and cycles, okay? It's an evolution, right? So we're in November. It's a 2 energy month. What's happening? 2 is such a cool energy because number 1, it's about connections and bridging. So bridging partnerships, connecting with people. Who are those people who have your back? Who are those people who, when you spend time with them, you feel like your best self, that you feel energized, you feel lit up, you feel excited, you feel like stoked to do life, right? You are going to be recognizing who's in your life in November, that they are here for your growth and evolution. They want you to win. They have your back. They are cheering you on, and you feel supported and expanded when you're in their presence. As a contrast, you're also going to notice those people in your life that you feel maybe don't always have your best interest at heart, maybe are afraid to see you grow, expand, and evolve, and want you to stay the same. Maybe they have some covert agreements at play, which is like expectations that are put upon us that we didn't verbally agree to, but we somehow find ourselves playing along with these like fake and not agreed to rules, and we don't even know how we got there. Now, I'm not going to say that that's all on them. It's partly on us. It's up to us to be like, wait a second here. I do not agree to this. I do not consent to this. Like, you might have that in your mind, but let's bring it out on the open and discuss it to see what's on my mind so that we can reach a conscious agreement around this, not this haphazard, we don't talk about it and we just float along with something that makes us uncomfortable. We are not doing that anymore. So, number 1, the people in your life where there is covert agreement or unfair expectations being placed upon you, November is here for you to interrupt that cycle and have a conversation. I really encourage you, I invite you to just be like, hey, something is feeling off on me. Can we sit down and talk about this? And, the language I love to use, I know I've shared this in here before, but honestly, this phrase is gold, is the story I'm telling myself is, you're expecting this of me, and it feels like too much. Can we renegotiate? right? Or let me check in and see what your thoughts are. Is this true that this is an expectation of yours? Let's discuss it and bring it out to the light, lay it on the table, and be open-hearted about it. And if this person is truly here for your growth and expansion, they will welcome those conversations. They will love and embrace those conversations. They will be like, I am so happy you shared this with me. Let's talk about it. Like, thank you. And like, more of that, yes, please, right? More of that, yes, please. That is what we are all here for. So number one, interrupting those covert agreements and unfair expectations and bringing them out into the open to kind of air that and just let that unfold, shift, evolve through those conscious conversations that are in alignment, in integrity, where you bring your whole self to the table, messy or not, and just lay it out there. Number two, the other piece that's going to be coming in very strongly this month is your intuition is on fire. So with the 2 energy, this is bridging. So this can also be bridging between the energetic realm, between your guides, between your gut instinct and you, right? Your ability to communicate with the universe is going to be much stronger this month than typical because of this 2 energy. So letting yourself do the things that allow you to hear those internal messages. So please give yourself some space in silence. Do not feel the need to have a podcast running 24/7 or to have the TV running in the background. Like, give yourself some space in silence so that you can hear the messages that the universe wants to share with you. So, and some of us have practices, right? One of my favorite practices is numerology, obviously. This is one of the strongest ways my intuition speaks to me. And you might have your own practices. Maybe it's working with tarot or oracle. Maybe it's, whatever, going for a walk in nature, laying on the grass, like going for a swim, going for a jog, having a bath, meditating. These are all great tools. Doing art's a great thing. Like, even just like doodling and coloring and whatever, what allows you to hear your inner voice. The other thing I want to say is, because there's been a lot of chaos and endings, which are stressful. They're hard on your nervous system. They're hard on your capacity. It requires us to change our comfort zone, which is by definition uncomfortable. Like, it's not fun to do that, but it's required of us when we are shifting cycles and patterns. So doing the nervous system work to tend to your being, right? And for me, this involves a lot of conscious self-care. This is not the dysregulating self-care that a lot of people, if you hear this terminology, I want you to let this land in. Conscious self-care versus dysregulating self-care. They are 2 very, very different things. And one will allow you to actually feel rested, recharged, more clear-minded, and more focused. And the other is like, oh my God, I need a vacation from my vacation, right? If you've ever said that, you know exactly what I'm talking about here. So choose those things that allow you to ground and regulate your body. And so these are things like having heart-to-heart conversations with people who really love you and see the best in you and hold you in the highest regard, okay? Because the power of those mirror neurons, there's nothing like it. And it's so powerful for being like, right, my feelings and thoughts do matter. They are important, and I deserve to be seen, heard, and understood. I deserve to have that witnessing, okay? That's the power of a good co-regulation session. Also, maybe it's physical movement, like going for a walk or going to the gym to reconnect with your body. Grounding, like bare feet on the grass, going for a swim, putting your feet in the lake, doing cold plunging, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe it's eating really nourishing foods that allows your body to thrive and your mind to be clear, and you can think clearly and have those clear-minded feelings and thoughts about life. You know what it is for you. And if you haven't really figured it out yet, you can always book in a session with me, because sometimes when I look at your numerology charts, I can help you to see what are those pathways to that reconnection with self, so you can truly hear that inner voice coming through. Okay, so that was number 3. Is there any other bits I want to bring forward about the 2? Problems and solutions. So this is going to be a powerful month where, if you go into it solution minded, that there's going to be some problems that may have been niggling or weighing on you, that, there's some answers available for you. And it might not be the full answer. We always want like the full detail thing, but it is going to be, here's your next step. And this is often how we find the answer to the questions we have when we are walking a new path. We don't get to see the entire map on step one. We just get to see the next step, but truly that's all you need. You can't do 10 steps at once. You can only do one step at a time. So letting yourself see that next step and taking that action forward, whatever that might be for you. Okay, so let's see here. Do you think it's time to go into some of the specific dates for the month ahead? I feel like it is. All right, so the first date I want to bring to mind is today, November 5th. So even if it's after November 5th when you're tuning into this live stream, that's fine, right? You can still energetically tap into the 5th because this is a really strong intuition day. And it's a strong day where your intuition is going to speak to you in regards to your self-concept and your self-worth. And that to me is one of the most important things that we can really ground into, is understanding who am I and what is my value. And this isn't a quantifiable thing. Like, truth be told, each one of us is infinitely precious and invaluable. Like, there's no amount that can be valued that you are. You are infinitely precious. However, you have a different value that you bring to the table, and each one of us is unique in that way. You have unique gifts, you have unique skills, you have unique energy, and that is part of the gift and the value that you contribute to the collective with. So today is a really great day to tune in and be like, what is the value that I'm contributing to the collective in just my energetic beingness, in just being here and being present? What is the value I'm contributing? Because this is one of the things I adore about numerology, is it shows you exactly the energy that you are here to grid, anchor, and contribute. And you don't have to go out and do a lot of things. You actually just get to be embodied in that energy. So that is super, super powerful on the 5th. And then, and if, like I said, if you're catching this after the 5th, it's okay. You can still tap into that energy whenever you're listening to this, right? By asking yourself those questions. Now, as we move forward into the 7th and the 8th of November, this is really about cycle breaking, particularly around things we think we understand. And I don't know if you've ever had this like happen really consciously, where you're like, I spent my whole life thinking one thing. Right? Like, I had this thought, this belief, this idea, this understanding that this was how it worked. And then all of a sudden I woke up one day, and maybe it was a book I read or a conversation that was had or something, and I saw it differently. And it was one of those like light bulb moments, or like ding, 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 and something clicked and it was all of a sudden different. Has that ever happened to you before? So on the 7th and the 8th, this type of insight, where it's like you cannot unknow it once you know it, wants to come through. So new ideas, new inspiration, downloads, and intuitive hits coming in hot to break a pattern or a belief or an idea, something that you held in your mind that was probably creating a bit of an upper limit for you, and you might not have realized it. The next evolution wants to kick in on the 8th, where you're breaking that cycle, and the new understanding you have is going to create an expansion for you, an advancement for you, an expanded evolution for you. However you look at that, like, you know, when we often think of like moving you forward, right? But because we're not operating on linear timelines, it's tricky. It's not always about forward. It's about expansion and spiraling, right? Like a spiral expansion. Okay. So the new insights clicking in on the 8th, where you're like, oh, now I know how I need to go forward with this, how I need to proceed with this, how this understanding is going to shift and support me in a really powerful way. So that is the 7th and the 8th of November. Now, as we continue to go forward, the next date I really want to bring to your mind is the 13th and the 14th. And in this window of time, there is some karmic cycles that want to be reset. And what do I mean by karmic cycles? It's like certain patterns have been unfolding in a particular way for some time, and you will know what they are when they are ready to be shifted. It's like, oh, I've always, related like this, or I've always experienced finance like this, or my health like this, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden on the 13th, you're going to have this like, oh, it might be different now. That cycle is ready to change. And it's really powerful to work with this energy, particularly on the 13th, if you are actively trying to break a cycle. Like, as an example, like, let's just say, oh, I want to get better at reading. So, right now I kind of read randomly here and there. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I want to be the kind of person that reads every single day. That is a great intention to set to make your day one be the 13th of the month. So maybe it's not reading for you. Maybe it's going to the gym. Maybe it's doing something with your finances and your accounting. Maybe it's goal setting. Maybe it's cold calling, sales. Like, I don't know. You know what your thing is. But when you're ready to allow the hard thing to shift and become easy, that's the 13th of the month that you want to really anchor in your new routines and habits on that date. Okay, then as we move on to the 17th of the month, this is a very strong creative day. So letting yourself write your ideas out and journaling is key this day. So even if you don't think you're a journaler, even if you're not a note taker, I invite you to find whatever way that works for you. And maybe it's like getting some colored markers and drawing out a mind map, or getting out the big piece of paper and writing things out, or maybe it's a vision board, like something that allows you to use your creative expression, written creative expression, letting something land on a page to support some type of new manifestation, new activation that you want to lead forward. Then, as we move into the 20th, I mentioned earlier that this month is a great month for building connections that have your back and that want to see you succeed, whether it's new friendships or nurturing existing ones. On the 20th, you are going to get some very strong insight as to who are these people that have your back, that want you to succeed, that are cheering you on, and you're going to know who they are. So allowing yourself to invest in those relationships. And relationships don't just happen. They happen through investment of time and energy, right? So spending some time having the backs of those people in your life who also have your back on the 20th and the 21st and the 22nd, those 3 days, very, very key. And those people who will really support you in your expansion, that will become apparent. Okay. As we move into the 26th of the month, there is a heart expansion underway. So maybe this is romantic love, maybe this is friendship love, but whatever it is, you're going to notice an expansion of your heart happening, particularly around the 26th, the 27th. Great time to do some date nights, whether it's friendship date nights or date nights with your love, whatever this looks like, because this is a big heart opening window. And it's really coming out that as we wrap up the month, our relationships are being redefined. The way we relate, how we relate, why we come together, how we come together, what we do for each other as we relate, wants to evolve and shift a little bit. So it's like these insights are coming in as to who are your people, and then there's going to be maybe new ways you interact with them, and new kind of relational norms, particularly on the 27th to the 30th. So that about wraps up the month of November into high level, into some detail. Of course, this is the universal forecast, which means it's relevant to all of us. You all have your own personal forecasting based on your unique date of birth that we can go into as well. If you want to get into any of the very specific pieces that are just for you, that would be booking a personal forecast with me. And if you're interested, just send me a little note, drop me a DM, send me a note on Instagram, and I'd be happy to follow up with what that looks like and how to book one. And there's a couple other things I want to talk about coming up that I'm super excited about. So one of the things coming up is the Informed Practitioner with Leah Morrison. And I'm really excited about this collaboration. Leah and I are working together on this. And Leah is a trauma educator, and she really understands how our bodies and our minds and our experiences get impacted through trauma, and even more importantly, how to heal that and experience post-traumatic growth. That is her specialty, and she's a genius at it. And I am coming in with how that affects us as entrepreneurs, as business owners, and as professional space holders, right? If you are here where you talk to people and you hold space for people, whether you're a practitioner, whether you're a service provider, if you deal with people when they're vulnerable, when they're having challenges, maybe money challenges or big decisions or anything along those lines, I know that you need support. because people come to you with their stuff all day long, and you need someone to hold space for you as well. And as practitioners, we need a place to be able to share best practices, talk through situations, have someone who's like gets it when we're going, this is what happened. I need help. How do I help this client? How do I support this client? Walk me through it, potentially building those connections so that we can really improve our practices for our clients as well. So if you are a coach, a therapist, a practitioner, any type of one-on-one service provider, I would love to invite you to a free training called the Practitioner's Circle of Care that Leah and I are going to be hosting in December. If you want the information, I'll drop it below or send me a note, and I'll get you registered to receive the free training. And it's going to be absolutely amazing. I'm super excited. And then finally, the last piece I want to share is a year ahead business planning retreat. This is in Kelowna. It's about a day and a half, 2-day experience where we are going to go through, review 2025, wrap it up with a bow, and set our course for 2026. Making our plans, making our strategies, setting our goals, working out how we're going to achieve those goals, and really laying the groundwork for a successful 2026. That is going to be in the beginning of January in Kelowna. It's going to be an in-person one as well. So if you are interested in the details, I would love to invite you to join us. I'm going to send you the information. Just comment, let me know, and hopefully I'll see you there. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for watching. I'd love to wrap this up by asking you, what was the piece that landed for you? What hit? What was that thing you needed to hear? Just let me know, like, what was the insight you got from this forecast today? Okay, sending you so much love, mwah, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.